Outliers, what is up? Niiamah, Sean here. Thank you so much for letting us be a part of your journey here today. We have a banger for you in this Outliers Edge roundtable. We are joined by three incredible outliers who are all playing a different game out in the world, but show up with a level of integrity and a level of creativity that I think is just going to like inspire and energize us for not just today, but the whole rest of the week. That's the bar that I'm setting for this conversation.
Yeah.
So why don't we give you a chance to get to know each of these outliers? We'll start off with you, Sean. Sean, would you mind letting us know more about you and the game you're playing?
Sure. Great to see you all today. Thanks for having us. Really appreciate the opportunity. So I'm Sean Olson. We professionally speaking, I'm in the executive coaching space, but I don't like to limit it there. So here's the big picture with all this. I'm a firm believer that we are the result of all the experiences that we have had if we take advantage of the lessons learned along the way. And so I'm at a point today where, yes, I'm an executive coach. It's in some senses a saturated market across the US and across the world. But really, what sets it apart and how I approach it and how my team approaches it is I'm just a firm believer straight up that my God given gift is to see more in people than they see in themselves. Then to help them understand what I see in them, to help them see it for themselves, and then help them actually climb that mountain to attain it for themselves. And the big difference that comes out in that is that it's totally about them. It's about who they were created to be, helping them become the best version of themselves. And the best part about that is yes, it's coaching. Yes, it's asking great questions, but every single client's different. Every single organization is different. It's about the who, meaning that person, and not the what, the leadership skills they're developing. And so what really sets me apart in my coaching and others is that personalization side where we're becoming deep friends. And I like to step out of the box and say, what can I learn from you as you're learning from me, so that they can step out and become the best version of themselves. And in the end, I want my clients to move up where they want to go and become that outlier themselves.
Booyah, 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 booyah. I'm loving it, Sean. Thank you so much for coming here. Thanks for the game that you are playing.
Thank
I'm
you.
excited to see. Yeah, I'm excited to see what we see here in this conversation here. All right. All right. Kisma, let's give outliers a chance to get to know you. Would you mind letting
Yeah.
us know more
Hey,
about you and the game you're playing?
first, can I just say how awesome you are? Like,
Mm.
Niiamah, I'm like, I love your energy. I love your smile.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know what I was stepping into. But behind the scenes, I was like, I don't know, there's something going on here. So I'm going to show up. It's really cool. I am founder and CEO of Illumination Academy, which is a coaching company. And I would say what we help people design their destiny. So manifest a life, a business, a career, relationships they love. And I'm going to be really outlier-ish and say that one of the ways I do it is by ethical brainwashing. So we have different levels and programs that we do in Illumination Academy. And at the very high level, I do something which is a 4-day process called Avery. And it's basically ethical brainwashing. It's installing an alter ego inside so that basically you don't need coaching ever again. And then other ways that we help people design their destiny is we work with the ancient sages. Everything I do is based in Vedanta teachings it's a philosophy from India, and then merge it with neuroscience, universal laws, obviously advanced mindset, and energy healing. So we play around with the whole human. As Florence Scovel-Shinn said, it's the game of life and how to play it and win it. So that's what we got going on over here in Las Vegas.
Oh, that's so awesome to play here. And one of the things I like here is uh, I call it like owning it, right? Like you
Yeah.
own what like who you are. You're like, this is how we show up. This is what we do here. And outliers, like if you're ever thinking to yourself, we have like in this space like three people who are coaches, right? Like it works in that space right now where it's like, but each of us are distinct. And I want you to be thinking
Mhm.
about this for yourself here, where it's like in what ways are you showing up as the generic, as the status quo, as what people are expecting, as opposed to owning what it is that you do and how you show up in it? And we'll go ahead and play with that there. Leslie, let's bring you
Yay.
out here. Do you mind letting us know more about you and the game you're playing?
Awesome. Thank you again. Also, it's great being here with all of you today. And so, again, my name is Leslie Carmen. I'm the founder of Carmen Care Laser. And the reason why I created or opened up this clinic was my daughter had a debilitating illness called trigeminal neuralgia, which is facial pain, suicidal disease. And there is no hope and no cure. And I am now a person that is showing up and giving people hope and giving them a sense of direction and that you can be helped even with the most debilitating disease out there. My daughter is now completely pain-free. After 13 years, we've opened up the clinic. Yep. And since then, we've treated over 4,500 patients, all with debilitating pain, back pain, shoulder pain, migraine, all these different things. And the most important thing was to actually find something that works for people where they can hold on to that hope, where they're listened to. Because very interestingly, I have a lot of patients that come in and they just cry because somebody actually believes them that they're in pain. And that to me is the most unbelievable part, is that many times people aren't even believed anymore. They think it's in their head. They're told, well, just take an anxiety pill or go work out or go do this, when they are suffering in such pain just because we can't see it, or we don't have a tool to measure it, or we don't have a blood test that's going to show it. They're in pain, and somebody needs to believe them and stand for them and guide them and be there for them. And that's basically how I show up every day for my people.
Oh, Leslie, thank you for the work that you do. Right.
Thank you.
This extends out to each of you. There's something you just said there around like belief right there. And I think all of us here in some way, shape, or form say like find some way to like believe in people and extend a belief of hope beyond what they may know or what most people say is even possible. Right. And so like that level of belief, I'm going to start off my first question here with this here. Where I'm like, that sounds good. As I said, I'm like, wow, that sounds good, right? But at the same time, I don't think it comes easy. I don't think it comes easy to take a stand for others or take a stand for the way that you do things, or the fact that you're like, I know that this can help out there. So I would love to just toss this as our first question into the mix here. How do you all like navigate? Let me rephrase it. What kind of difficulties do y'all face while you're taking a stand for your clients or taking a stand for the things that you believe in? And what kind of difficulties you do, and how do you navigate that so you can continue to stay on the path that you're on? I'm not going to ask anyone in particular, but whoever would like to get started with this one, we'll start off and we'll see where the conversation evolves to.
Yeah, I can start with that. I think it's a great question, by the way. Taking a stand for clients, I think actually is not difficult at all, because when we are like on that same frequency, we attract a client, they're in, and I can tell everyone here, even Leslie, who's working in pain management and healing in that way, Sean is a coach, Niiamah is a coach, guide. It's like we can all see the full potential in someone, and we can all believe in them and have them, I always say, borrow my confidence, right? Borrow my confidence in you. Having said that, I think where a coach, a healer, anybody has to kind of navigate is we can't want it more than them, because karmically it gets really messy. Like we can't want, like there has to be this understanding. You can see their full potential, you can guide them towards it, but they also have to want it, which in and of itself is part of the work, right? Helping them to look in the mirror and begin to see that better version, or I would say give themselves permission, right? That whole internal permission is huge.
Yeah, you're 100% right about that you can't want it more than they. I agree. Really, you have to, you can just really be the guiding light for them. They have to see that it's really within them. The healing is not outside of them. The healing is within. And we're just facilitating that. We're shining the light on them and showing them the path and saying, look, if you do want to heal, there are other ways, or this could also be an emotional component, it could be toxins, it could be this. They have to be open to healing. And many times I feel, as you all probably do the same thing, we're just guides, we're just a vessel. God is really healing through us, and therefore we also can't take responsibility when it fails, and we also can't take responsibility when it's a success.
Correct.
In both ways we can't take any responsibility. We're just there to guide. And
Mhm.
then that helps me a little bit understand, okay, well, I'm doing the best I can. So if somebody doesn't heal, if something's not working, then we just have to, leave it to spirit and just know, well, then maybe that's not their journey to heal right now. We just do the best we can and guiding and helping. And then you're completely right. It's really up to them. They have to be ready for that. If that's not their
Yeah.
time, then they're not going to heal.
Mhm. Mhm.
Absolutely. I agree with that. The phrase we use with it is they have to be coachable, right? And so we evaluate immediately, are they coachable? And what we mean by that is, are they open to feedback from their organization, from us as a coach? Are they open to direct questioning? Because I like to take, I'm sure we've all been to the gym before. We all know that huge phrase from the gym of no pain, what?
No
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 gain.
gain,
gain.
right? I say in life, and especially in the realm of coaching and growing and developing yourself and your skill sets, there is no growth in comfort. And so my job as a coach is to make you uncomfortable, asking difficult questions, challenging you, challenging your assumptions. In order for that to be successful, they've really got to be open to everything, and they have to realize that there is no growth in comfort. But when I become uncomfortable, also realizing that it's temporary. It's
Mm.
just for this season. And so we'll give them things to try and do. It seems mechanical, it seems unnatural, but it's muscle memory. It becomes natural, and that's where they become the best version of themselves. That's where the belief really comes into play.
Yeah. One of the things I think with this, that's at least, and I can tell everyone sort of resonates with this, but Illumination Academy, we're very big on the unseen hands, right? So there's the divine plan, for instance. I'll say, here's the theme for the month. It's the divine plan. And what's funny is like at first everyone's like, I don't know my divine plan. I have to figure it out. And I was like, no, that's the point. Allow it to unfold, right? So stay steady, take magnificent action, have your intention, your beliefs, but the divine plan can unfold. Because if we look at the universal law of non resistance, it's like everything is playing a part for the greater whole. And I do think, to what you're saying, Sean, like getting someone to be coachable, and Leslie, hoping and guiding them to understand they can heal. But if we don't have something that we want, somewhere we're resisting it, like somewhere we are resisting it. And that could be a lifetime of work to figure out what that is, or it could happen in an instant. But I always love looking, even in myself, it's like, what am I resisting at this next level where I'm going for? And it's a fascinating question.
Allies, I'm going to leave that with you to just ponder on right now, right? So while the four of us are having this conversation here, you're also invited to come and join us in real time. It's one of the benefits of doing something like this live. So, or listen as you're listening to it later on. So one thing here is to ask yourself the question, like, what am I resisting? And I love, Kisma, that you brought up to that next level.
Mm-hmm.
We're constantly looking at the next level here. Like, we're not a place where it's like, we're going to help you do more of the same or just like help you move forward. We're saying, how do you continue to level up along the way? And
Yep.
for me, the element of resistance really does only shows up then. Like I don't have any resistance to like drinking this can because like this kind of drink because I'm like I've done it before.
Mm-hmm.
There
Right,
isn't
right.
but
Yeah.
it isn't taking us to new heights. So outliers, think about that for yourself. You can answer that, put it in the chat, and if you have any questions for anyone that's here or any comments you want to put in, just put it in the comments and we'll keep playing that through. All right. All right. Yeah. So you got me thinking here. Someone mentioned that the comfort zone, and that I was like, ooh, let's do it. I look at like, and so my question is this. It's gonna be a two-part question. All right. Part one, I want to know like what are you building? What are you creating right now? What's something that you're taking on right now in your life or business or impact that really excites you, brings you to life, but also might scare you, might even give you like that sweaty palms. Like it takes some kind of courage for it. And I think that the tie into that is like this is something that is taking you outside of your comfort zone. So what are you creating right now that is taking you outside of your comfort zone? And I want to tie that to like your identity, like how you grow as a person. like who are you changing, or what part of you is changing or becoming as a result of it? So what are you doing right now? What are you creating that's taking you out of your comfort zone? And then how are you evolving? How are you leveling up in order to meet like whatever that next step is? And like it could be like, I know this is where I need to go. I'm in the process. Like, but I'd love to share that here because I think that's like outliers. We have our goals, but we're like, do we actually go after it? You know? Would anyone
Mhm.
like to get us started on that one?
Sure, I'll start, Leslie.
All right, thanks,
I'll
Leslie.
start. Okay, thanks. So over the 13 years, I've developed a protocol called the T3 paradigm. And it's the three T's. You're treating the trauma to the cells, the physical trauma, then you're treating the toxins, and you're treating the thoughts. And I got that from Dr. Bruce Lipton. He said treating trauma, toxins, and emotions. And I turned that E to a T for the thoughts to have, a marketing point, a T3 paradigm. So with that said, I would like to, we have such great results here at the clinic addressing those three things, because when you have a disease, many times your disease was a manifestation of a belief that you had. So if you don't address that, you're really not going to be able to get full healing. Same thing with toxins. If you have an overload of mercury toxins or candida or anything like that, you're also not going to be able to heal. So the true healing comes of what I've seen from addressing those three things. Now, my goal was once, I'm going to have 500 clinics. Well, that's not happening. That's just too big of a thought. And it's just, I'm already 65. So that's not going to happen. But I thought in the meantime, well, what if I train this? What if I start creating conferences or getting together and training other doctors, other healthcare providers to learn this T3 paradigm and to understand really where these toxins come from and how we can help the people emotionally move forward. And so I thought that would be something that I could start training people, getting credits that they need. And that's really out there. And I'm a little scared to do that. But I'm thinking, well, just trust the process. If it's meant to be, it's going to happen. And doing that, I would be able to reach so many more people than if I open up more additional clinics. It's still just me doing it. But this way, if I have other people learning this and doing it, then they can take it out into the world and we'll be able to spread this much, much faster with over many, many more people.
Yeah, I love that, Leslie.
Thank
Interesting
you.
thing about leadership and about outliers and with us being founders and things like that. One of the greatest rewards of working with people and coaching people, especially in asking questions, is we can't ask them questions if we're not willing to take those same steps, right? So we're challenging them in different ways. And so a phrase we use oftentimes is you've got to let go to level up. That's in reference to like delegation and empowerment, right? Letting go of different things so you can level up and do things that only you can do. That even goes for us as business owners. Our company has been blessed with steady growth over the 10 years. We've been full time in this. We have a huge team now. But we saw Niiamah and others, we wanted to really level up to scale our organization. We're across the US, some in North America. We want to go international. In order to do those things, we need to go online, which is counter to where our company has been. Like we have blossomed because of the personalization and how we coach people and the relationships we develop. So it's like if we do an online subscription-based program, how are we going to maintain who we are as that personalized approach that really challenges, inspires, and motivates them in that virtual format? So I took some classes myself. I went out there to get classes on keynote speaking, to get on the stages, to drive people into the master classes, to drive them into that network. And we are now 16, 18 months into that process. And I would say it's been very, very uncomfortable. It's been very, very challenging. And we're starting to see the fruit. The fruit isn't there yet, but that's where we're constantly tweaking. People always say you got to be willing to pivot or perish and things like that and change management. It's actually just being iterative in every single thing that you do. It doesn't mean you let go of your foundation. You hold on to your foundation, your values, and your beliefs. But how you execute it, it's constant iteration because that's where we live in the world today.
It's really good. I'm sitting here like, I love what Leslie and Sean both said. I think I just got out. You know how sometimes when you're walking in or discomfort, I should say, feels like you're walking through the wilderness. I don't know if you've read any Catherine Ponder. She's a great prosperity teacher. I'm not even sure if she's still alive. If she is, she's probably like 97. And she was a mentor, but we communicated via letter, back and forth, typed letter. It was incredible. And I asked her once, I said, Dr. Ponder, you have all these books on healing, on prosperity. Did it ever not work for you? And I remember this was probably about 3-4 years ago, and I just felt crunchy, like we were scaling at that moment, but it wasn't working. And she wrote back and she's like, oh yeah. She said, I felt like I was in the wilderness, but I kept teaching because she saw her clients get wins. She saw her clients creating more prosperity, right? In wealth, health, love, and spirituality. And she said, so I just kept going. And one day I was out of the wilderness. And so I feel like the wilderness is that place where we're walking some karma, we're building resilience, we're just whatever that is that we need. I don't look at it as lessons. I look at it as growth. And then if we keep going, the miracles spark, and they spark very easily, right? So I would say for me, I hit an uncomfortable stretch when I was certified with this Avery protocol by Chase Hughes. I help him in the Avery program and his company, Neurocognitive Intelligence, because I've been a spiritual girl. Like I used to be a classical musician, but then I owned a yoga studio, and then I worked with Vedanta and universal laws. But the Avery system demands a lot of neuroscience and understanding the brain. And so I doubled down and just studied and studied and studied. And, I've done about 15 of the Avery processes. And even now, every client, because they come here for 4 days in Las Vegas, it's like a massive study session. And I won't ever get there, which I love. Like, I don't think we ever get there because there's always another, like the principle of life force is expansion. So maybe it's that we're uncomfortable, but we begin to become comfortable being uncomfortable, knowing that even studies show, right? When there's pain, there's growth at any level. So yeah, that's where I am over here with all that. I don't know if it made sense, but
It made a lot of sense to me. Like I think that there's an element of this here, and outliers. Like Leslie's coming back online. We're trying to get her video back in here. Let's see if we need to do anything different. But like this really did make sense to me. I think this element of like getting comfortable with being uncomfortable really plays out. And then like the thing that got me in this case was like when you were talking about the wilderness. And then like one day you're out of the wilderness, because like I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I feel like I'm in the wilderness right now, right? I like all I know is I'm like, I'm gonna do another conversation. Like I'm gonna bring together another group of people. I'm gonna continue. I'll talk to my AI. I'll talk to my coaches. Like, but like I'm like where where's the end of this? And so I will say that story really resonated and hit home for me.
Good.
In a meaningful way, where I was like, oh, okay, hold on. Like there's a process to this all here, and we can't really know when we're done with it,
If we're ever done with it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Never.
oh, that's like that even in itself, it's like that's like a paradigm like challenger right there.
Well,
like if
because
we're ever done with it.
we're coaches and we are trained to bring out the best in people, like, right? And ourselves. Like Sean said, we're not going to have our clients do anything that we haven't done or reflect on anything. But I think when we change that, like you said, the narrative or the paradigm, how exciting that every day we get to wake up and see what's possible. Like every single day, there's another level of possible because it's infinite. But the marketing world, like you mentioned just a little bit earlier, that marketing world can create so much noise and make any entrepreneur think, oh my gosh, I have to do it this way, or I'm not as good as that person. And I fully believe the moment we compare ourselves with someone else, we've given over our authority. We're done. And
Mm.
they're comparing, like everybody's doing the comparison game if they haven't decided, yeah, I'm not doing that. Like it's cool. Everyone do great. There's enough. There's the law of supply. There's enough for everyone. But the moment we compare, think we've got to fit in a mold, it's done.
Yeah. I love that word comparison. And I don't know where I heard this. I'm not taking credit for it. It's from somebody else. But if you were to spell out the word comparison, in the word comparison is the word prison.
Good
And that's
one.
exactly what it does, right?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like the antithesis of an outlier, right? An outlier is I'm going out, I'm doing my thing and who I was created to be. Comparison says I'm going to go out and be what you are, or at least try to measure up to you. We try to measure up, we're never going to fit it, because no matter what we're doing in life, there's somebody who's better at it. There's somebody who's smarter. There's somebody who has a bigger pocketbook. That's not the point. The point is, are you flourishing? Are you becoming the best version of you?
Yeah, this is really it's hitting me here. I haven't written out comparison to come and check out there. Maybe Rhonda, we can just put it out on that. There it is, right there, right? The prison is out in that word, right? So like we have like these. I think that there's a reason why I love to bring people on into this space, right? Because the idea here is not actually comparison. Like someone said to me, they said we often compare how we feel at our worst with how others look at what we think is their best,
That's a
right?
good one.
Yeah. And like it's like this internal external game that we're playing, which is like it's not actually how things are, you know. And so like outliers, like I think we're really being offered a chance right now to release. And I'm thinking, Kisma, when you talked about like leveling up and the resistance that you felt there, and like. And Sean, you're talking about like, all right, you've already gotten to a certain level with the business. Now you're scaling nationally. You have to go learn new things. You're 18 months into that process, and it's getting me to think here around like this component of like continuously hitting our comfort zones, continuously hitting these places, and being like, okay, I don't compare myself to the person or like to the people I used to back then. But now that I've fully established on this new level and I'm ready to go up again, like it keeps repeating itself there. I'm like, let's give us a little bit more time here. We might have lost Leslie for the conversation. I'm hoping that we're able to bring her back in, but if not, we'll just keep going through.
Yeah, cool. I've leveling up, next level kind of thing. I would say like the purpose has to be purpose driven, right? And this is something I haven't shared, but I used to be a classical musician. That was like the first half of my life. So I had a great career. I played in Hong Kong Philharmonic. I was like, whatever. Awesome. I worked for that career since I was 12 years old. However, one night on stage, I just get this voice like, you're done. There's something else. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, are you crazy? But I listened to that voice. And at the end of that season, left Hong Kong, repatriated, opened a yoga studio, and felt like this new surge of purpose. This was back in 2008 when the studio opened and it was in Michigan. So there was a lot going on then. People needed something, right? And that, like purposeful, watching people change, watching them work on their lives was incredible. And then at some point, I was like, all right, telling people to lift their right leg up and step forward just wasn't enough, right? Like I got to have more juice in the game. But I'd started going to India, studying at the Vedanta Academy, and this whole idea of mind, body, intellect sunk in. And Sean said this at the beginning. Our life is a series of experiences, and the quality of the experiences determine the quality of the life. So if we can start to look at every experience and change perception bit by bit, because we're in control of those experiences. And as we just keep dialing the perception shift to learning something, seeing, not taking it personally, all those things, then as a whole composite, our lives elevate. And then it becomes more exciting, and wanting to compare or do whatever isn't even an option. But up leveling becomes a natural result, right? Because everything is cause and effect. So I don't know, there's sort of a long spin around, which is sort of how I talk. Sorry,
No, that's all
everyone.
good. That's all good. No, where my mind went on this a little bit is this whole realm of we live in a culture that says everything should be bigger, better, level up, level up,
Mm.
level up.
Mhm.
There is a limit to it, right? Life is a journey. Leadership is a journey. It's not a destination. Business is a journey. It's not a destination. It's not all about the almighty dollar. Actually, it's not. If that is your pursuit alone, like if that's your guiding light is cash, you'll probably never be satisfied. It's a benefit to actually pursuing what you want to pursue in life. But here's what I've really found for myself, and I have to do this with my team where I fail as a leader, and I see this in other leaders, is celebrating when we've taken a step up. Like
That's
stopping for a
true.
second, reflecting, looking in the
Mhm.
rearview mirror, not the windshield, looking at where we have come and how we've gotten better, and actually stopping and celebrating that. And with our coaching engagements, we'll get to the end of an engagement, and we spend some time looking at all the ways they've grown, and then they also quickly say, "Yeah, but look at how much further I have to go." And the point is this: you wouldn't have even seen what you see today of where you
Mm.
need to go next before you started this other part of the journey. And so it is about leveling it up. It is about that journey, but it's also stopping to recognize the people that have helped us along the way, because no one gets anywhere by themselves, and celebrate those things. And sometimes even sit in it for a while. Like if you accomplish something major, it's okay to sit back and quote unquote go with what we're doing for 6 months, 12 months before you take the next
Yeah.
step, right?
Yeah.
If we don't, it actually kind of takes away purpose, and life's
Yeah.
about purpose.
But don't you think too, like if we look at the law of vibration, everything is vibrating, nothing's still.
Mhm.
So we're either moving forward or we're moving back. But I
Yep.
think just what you said, Sean, just like the enjoyment and acceptance of a win or a celebration, that in and of itself has momentum forward,
Mhm.
right? Especially when the intention is like, this is amazing. Thank you, right? The gratitude's a big piece. So I think that is really cool. It's also like one of the things I learned, I think it was my very first trip to the Vedanta Academy. This amazing teacher, Swami Parthasarathi, he was talking about how when someone starts in personal development or some sort of new thing, it's like parched land. You're just pouring water in. Like, remember whenever we first started, like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, like, look at this book, this is so great. Or someone goes to Tony Robbins or whatever, and they're soaking it up. And it's like this, they go very fast up. Then they hit this peak. And like
Mhm.
you said, Sean, then they can see the next one. However, because they feel saturated, they think they are good, they think they have it, or they think that there's nothing else. Now, here's the key, and this is so important. When you've done this and you're up here and you pay attention, you have this extreme self awareness, 1% up here is like 10 of these.
Mhm.
It's so profound when someone is up here and they turn it up, they learn one more thing, just 1%. It's like miracle making. But so many people stop right here.
Mhm.
And that's why I'm like, the universe is about infinite possibilities, always life force expansion. And it doesn't have to be this huge breakthrough all the time, but increased awareness and usually of self, right? Maybe one's true self, connection with God, universe. It's just, and like you said, Sean, everything becomes in alignment. It's great to make cash. Money's a great energy. I
Mhm.
love helping people make money. But if you don't have a vasana or desire just for money, you've got to have that other purpose.
Yep.
Right. So knowing what, then some people have a great desire, just make money. It's why they're here and they do it and they hopefully do great things with it. Some people don't, but hopefully they do. But yeah. So I just feel like sometimes we can't stop, especially like you were saying, Niiamah, if you feel like you're in the wilderness, like all of a sudden it's going to be so clear.
I really love like that, and I think that there's a part of just to slow down on in terms of
Mm,
like that 1%. Like I've never heard like the journey kind of described that way with like the parched line and such. So I've like different terrains now in my head. Like we have like the wilderness, we have like the parched desert, like we have a
Mhm.
mountain. Like and this is it. We're talking through it because I think we know what those like lived experiences are like, right? And it's part of like it's so what you're talking to right now, Kisma, is part of why like I look at like outliers in particular. Like it's a made up term, right? But like I talk about outliers edge because I'm like, okay, what happens when you're at that stage where like you're at the top of your industry or you've done most things where most other people around you are at and they're trying to bring you back with like they're like here goes water, water is great, you're like actually
yeah.
I'm completely flourishing, like I need like I think I need like a new predator inside of here, or like something needs to happen to change the ecosystem for this to like really get to a new level of flourishing. And
Yeah,
the answer is not more water, even though it was for so long. And so, like, I
right.
think it's going to be our last question of the day. But like, how do y'all like navigate? I like the word navigate right today. How do y'all navigate when the thing that was working, the thing that got you all the way up to like your next level, like even if you've been there for 12 months, 18 months, or whatever it is, like just no longer continues to like provide the fruit. How do y'all continue to I think Sean you talked about let go to level up. How do y'all
Yeah.
continue to like make those changes as you need something different to move forward?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. So if you watch things like Shark Tank and all those entrepreneur things, right? One of the greatest failures of entrepreneurs is they're married to the product or the service. They're not married to the business. And so when that product or service reaches an end point, as Mr. Wonderful on Shark Tank likes to say, take it out back and shoot it. They don't want to shoot it. It prevents them from moving forward. Right. And so, like in our organization, we had this open enrollment leadership academy we were doing. It was in person, 6 days with coaching, things like that. It ran its course. And last September, so not even a year ago, we had to say, we're done and like shoot it. I was looking at the time resources into it, the other resources into it. And this was hard because this was a baby of my wife and I. Like we had dreamt about this aspect of our business, having this academy. It had 5 great years, but it was sucking us dry as far as like
Mm.
human resources and time and everything like that. So we shot it. It's dead. But simultaneously, we were going into this other realm I already talked about, right? With the online subscription based network and going to the next level with it. And it carries the same name. It was the Intentional Leader Academy. Now it's the Intentional Leader Network. But we realize we have got to be nimble. We have got to be honest with ourselves to say it's time to move on from that piece because there's something bigger and better out in front of us. It's hard though. I mean, it was hard. It was emotional.
Well, it's
It's not
part of your
just like business.
identity, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing with entrepreneurs. That was part of your identity. So when you shot that out back, you had to release part of your identity, which is
Yeah, at the end of
really,
the business for sure. Yeah.
yeah, but I guarantee part of yours because when you
Yeah.
talk about it, you're like, we put so much into, and this
Mhm.
is what being an entrepreneur is like.
Yeah.
I talk, it was worse being a musician. Oh my God, you were how you played, but that's the thing. You can't create a new reality with the same or old identity. And I think that back to the question of what worked for you and is no longer working, it's being able to release an old identity and install a new one. And that new one is just, to me, it's always getting closer to the true self, like the ultimate self, full
Mhm.
potential self within. But if people are brave enough and courageous enough, what's my new, not anybody else's identity, not some influencer on TikTok or Instagram, but your truth. And that takes trust and it
Mhm.
takes courage. But when you do that, you're unstoppable.
Mhm.
I really loved hearing this here, and I want to appreciate and to send my appreciation to all of you here. Sean, there's something in that last one that just really got me like I wasn't just thinking, I was lamenting at the same
I was,
time.
I was getting ready to ask you. So what's your answer to that question,
You could,
Niiamah?
yeah, right. You could. Well, there's something real that's happening right now. I'll say it right now because I find that the more I hide from it, these things, this is my what I have found is like when I hide, I'm afraid of like being the imposter, and it continues to work on me, right? So it's like going
Mm,
like it has more power over me, right? And so the question that I'm asking myself is, I love these podcasts here, but one of the things that I set out to do is like I didn't set out to create a media brand. I came out to create a community. And I've
Mhm.
been realizing, I'm like, am I hiding behind like getting to meet amazing people and having like awesome like hour-long conversations and having my brain like expanded, but am I hiding behind like not creating my own thought leadership, not putting my own like
mm,
stakes in the ground, reaching out to people and just being really clear, like I think you're awesome, come join the community, you know, like
mhm,
like, and I've literally for the last 20 hours, this has been like the primary thought of
Mhm.
mine. And I have like the rest of the day to like to
mm,
go through where it's like, I can keep doing this. This is gonna keep working. It is working. It's like, but is this the thing? And so so like
mm,
the timing of that statement, Sean, where like
Mhm.
yesterday at 8 p.m. from 8 p.m. to like 8 a.m. when I called up Veronica, I was like, Veronica, we should talk because something's changing. Nothing's changing, but something's changing. And for you to say this right here, I'm like, oh, okay, universe, I get it. Like not only like you're consistently providing different elements here.
Right.
That's what I don't want to say out loud because I mean I enjoy this, but like at the same time, it's like, is this what I'm on the planet for? Or not? Or is there a way that we can do this that's in even higher alignment than the capacity and capabilities that I had when we first started working through this? So, Sean, just so you
mm.
know, like y'all are working me in real time.
So cool.
You're
Yeah.
So
welcome. That's the
cool.
way it goes. No.
Yeah, that's how it is, right? That's how it is. And I really I appreciate these conversations because like I finally as outliers, we're not always trying to be taught. Sometimes eventually we'll say like, hey, you're my person. I want to learn, you know, or you're one of my people. I want you on my team, you know. But I enjoyed like just being introduced to different ways of thinking and not just like what makes sense in the the marketing scheme of it all, but like what you're actually doing because that
Mhm,
I really get and I thank you all for bringing both the purpose, the pleasure, and the pain that y'all have carried to make this thing happen. What we're gonna do now is we wrap up every conversation in two ways. One, we're gonna share how outliers can go deeper down the journey with you. So if you can include like how they can go deeper down the journey with you, that'd be wonderful. And then the second thing is that every time I get people together, it's to have a life changing conversation, like a life
mm,
changing experience of some way, right? And so let's assume that outliers are picking up what they need to pick up from it. I think Kisma, you were saying something where it's like, I don't know what you're gonna get from this, but like I know that something is happening, right?
mhm,
So without trying to give them what I call an outsight, which is how to think about things, right? I'd be really curious about what's an insight that you are leaving this conversation with. Now, don't make anything up if it's not true. If you're like, this was just a good conversation, nothing's here. I just think we've been honest with each other and so far, so we don't have to make up anything there. But we can share how to outliers can go deeper down the journey with you, and what's an insight that you have. And if you may, Leslie's internet ended up like having to come out, so she'll probably have to come on to another conversation. But I do want to make sure that anyone who was interested in and Leslie and what was going on there, I can't share any insights she had, but she has her website is carmencare.com. Carmencare.com. You can go to carmencare.com and you can find out more about Leslie or go deeper down in that place. And if you know anyone or anyone that is looking for hope, I hope that you introduce her to Leslie. All right, we should introduce them to Leslie. All right, Kisma, why
cool.
don't we come to you?
Yeah, yeah, sure. You can find me at kismaawake.com, KISMAAWAKE.com, and that'll also direct you to Illumination Academy. We have the Prosperity Code coaching method, which is how to manifest a life you love. Ashram, Alchemist. There's so many cool things. Universal Laws cheat sheet. So something for everybody for sure. And the insight, I just, for me, the insight is to say yes, right? So again, I've never met Niiamah. Never met Sean.
Mhm.
As
Yep.
everyone, my schedule is packed. I just took a client to the airport at 5:30 this morning, but somewhere yesterday or last week, I was like, I know this guy's cool. Like he's got these cool emails. He's inviting me. Just get on. Just show up. And I'm so glad I did because, and I'm sorry Leslie had to leave, but you're all awesome. So
Yeah.
say yes, even when it feels like, oh, I can't. That's probably an old story. So thank you.
I'm grateful you said yes, Kisma. Thank you so much. And then
Yeah.
Sean.
Yeah, we are Renigize Professional Coaching is the name of our company, our executive coaching company. It's Renigize, RENOGIZE.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn, our YouTube channel. I have my own podcast called the Intentional Leader Podcast. You guys can listen in on that. So we interview great leaders from around the world. We'd love to have you guys get in touch with us if we can help you on your leadership journey. I think my kind of takeaway or theme out of this is it's in alignment with where Kizma was coming from. You've got to be willing to take a risk. It can be calculated. Don't be reckless, but you've got to take a risk. So many people have that belief, that false belief, that myth of I can't. Or the bigger question is they keep saying, what if? What if is the biggest thing that holds them back? What if this? What if this? What if this? What if this? Flip the question. It's not what if, it's even if. Even if that happens, I'm going to keep on going. Even if that happens, I'm going to keep on paving my way.
Nice. Well, I really appreciate each of you all. This has been an incredible roundtable. Like I said, outliers, the beginning is like you're in for a banger, and so like this is it. We're all paving our journey. We're all moving forward here. My ask is that you keep being you throughout it. In fact, until the next time we talk, be you on purpose. Journey on.